All right, guys, welcome back for another video. Today, we got Travis Murray with us. We're actually out here in southern Mississippi, and we're going to be talking and discussing and showing you guys how Travis smokes up in order to add some cover scent to his specific hunting regimen that allows him to get a lot closer while traditional bow hunting off the ground for whitetails down here in the deep south. So, Travis, super excited to have you on here. Going through this method real quick, I know we got to kind of gather some materials here in order to do what you call your smoke up process. But again, how did you find out about this smoking process of, again, kind of covering your scent using smoke specifically for that?
Well, when I was young, one of my first jobs in life, I would call it an assistant elk guide. Certainly wasn't the head guide. I was just basically an assistant in my late teens. And the head guide was an old Yaqui Indian, and he had smoked up, and I just noticed that he was a very good woodsman. And he taught me a lot, taught me to whistle with an acorn shell. I can just about bust your eardrum. And I learned a lot, not just smoking up, I learned a lot of woodsmanship skills from him. And smoking up is what he did, his daddy did. It goes way back in their culture. And I just found it to be quite effective when I implemented it down here for deer.
Well, when we are looking at this, exactly what are we looking for on the ground in order to build a smoking fire and then kind of start walking through that process?
The first thing we're gonna do is it's southwest Mississippi. It hasn't rained in a month. It is dry. So the first thing we're gonna do is make sure we don't set the woods on fire. The second thing we're gonna do is gather some natural material that is dry to start just a tiny little, we'll start it right here in this bare dirt. I've been up here with the dozer, and we're clearing this, and we got bare dirt here because it's windy too. We gotta be careful. So we're gonna put some dry material here. We're gonna set fire to it. When the flame gets going, I'm gonna get some of this green stuff, and I'm just gonna plop it on it. Probably gonna put the flame out, but you'll get this waft of thick, heavy smoke. And that's what I like to smoke up in. I like to start with dry stuff and then dump some green stuff on top of it.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's start gathering some stuff.
Yeah, just get a little handful of straw. It doesn't take much.
Okay.
Plenty of dry stuff around here right now. Just set it right there. And I'm gonna ease over here and find some green stuff.
Okay. So the green vegetations was allowing us to get the excess of smoke that we're gonna be able to use to, again,
it's what I like.
cover ourselves.
It's kind of a habit of mine because I like that thick, heavy smoke I can see. Honestly, I've done it when there was no green stuff, and it was still pretty effective. You just don't get the, heavy smoke. And I'll just set fire to this. All right, there we go. And we're just gonna let that go. And this is kind of small scale. If I was really doing this, I'd probably use a little more. And just gonna let that catch on. And then just ease this over it and watch. See that thick, heavy smoke? And then you just get in the smoke. Take your hat off. If I had my bow with me, I would be wafting my bow and everything in it. One of the most important aspects of this is start clean. Don't be stinky and then smoke up and expect it to cover it. You start clean. Put your hand in there just a minute in that smoke and then smell your hand. You will see what I'm talking about. Get it in your hair, all your equipment, all your gear, everything.
Okay, cool. And again, this is something you'd grab your hat and you'd loft it over yourself.
Absolutely. Everything, my bow, my quiver, everything. I may take my shoes off and do I try to get as much smoke on me as possible. And you can
smell it.
Yes.
Now, also, do you see a difference whether you're like using, say, like green cedar brush or anything like that, kind of later in the season, or pines? Again, is that something you're gonna try to find potentially when it gets less greenery?
I love cedar because I just love the smell of it. I also, if it's in the part of the world, well, here's one right here. This is a wild cherry tree.
Okay.
And its leaves, if you find green leaves and put them for the green stuff, it doesn't change anything with the effectiveness of the hunt, but it smells. You ever been around them old sweet cigars them old men used to smell? It just smells, it smells like a cherry.
Okay.
So I just, for personal reasons, I like it. But you can see how thick this is.
No, that's amazing. Again, how small it is, but again, just that amount of green vegetation we're able to put on and get a lot of smoke coming off.
And what did that take us?
I mean,
2 minutes?
Maybe, if that.
2 minutes. And
so now I want to kind of go into the actual time frame. Are you doing this every morning before a morning sit? Are you doing it midday? Like, how often are you trying to smoke up, and when?
If I'm just doing like an evening hunt, I'll smoke up before the hunt, and that's it. Because this, in about 3 or 4 hours, smell your hand.
Okay.
It's still going to smell like that smoke.
Okay.
When it gets in your clothes, I mean, it's in your clothes.
Okay. Now, also, are you doing this once you, if you're going to drive someplace, like say you're going to go hunt the National Forest or something over here and you aren't walking from the house to go there, are you doing it once you get on site, or are you doing it before you leave?
I do it right before I'm ready to go hunt.
Okay.
I don't smoke up, hop in the truck, and then go hunt. You're liable to get something on you. It's just, and I'll do this. I keep a lighter with me if it's safe. If I'm hunting all day, I'll smoke up in the morning. Around lunch, I may do it again, and then again, I may do it 2 or 3 times in a day's time. It just depends. If it's hot weather and I'm getting real sweaty, I'll do it more often.
Okay, no, that's super interesting, because I can see just from a cover scent standpoint, kind of building that confidence against smelling like that. But also, one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize or think about, if you're going to do this, especially if you're hunting like some kind of national forest where they're already burning in a prescribed fire, you go there even a month after they burned, you can still smell it in the air. And I can see it being extremely effective just because it's a natural scent already in that area, in that environment.
I've had people tell me that, oh, well, when they smell smoke, that's going to alarm them. I just haven't found that to be true. Yeah. Smoke is it's part of nature. I've never seen smoke when we leave, there's deer all around here. They'll come up here and they're liable to be in there licking the ashes. Smoke just doesn't scare deer.
Now, let me ask you this. Also, with the smoke, what are some of the things to watch out for when trying to smoke up from a safety standpoint, but also just from an equipment standpoint?
Don't get in a ghillie suit or leafy suit and get near a fire and try to smoke up. Ask me how I know that. I have set fire to my ghillie suit, and if you could have been there to film that dance and show, it would have been a YouTube sensation, because I did quite a little. Don't catch yourself on fire. If you got on heavy coats and you have a lot of gear, take it off separately. Don't get in a ghillie suit or leafy suit or something or anything and set yourself on fire. Safety has to be, you can't enjoy a hunt if you got 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah.
I mean, just use common sense. I mean, that's my only real warning. Is I got in a hurry one time, had my ghillie suit on, and I was standing there like that. Next thing I knew, the legs of my ghillie suit were on fire, and it got real exciting there for about a minute. Okay. And now, also, one other thing, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, if you're smoking up like that, because smoke is such a strong smell, strong odor, do you carry a change of clothes that you change out of when you come out of the woods, when you get back in your truck or something like that? I like the smell of smoke. Even my wife tolerates it. Sometimes I'll get a little too, like if I smoke up and she calls me and let's go have lunch and I hop in the car with her, she'll give me a little attitude about, you smell too much like smoke. But for the most part, I just like the smell of smoke. It doesn't bother me. Now, one other aspect about, again, smoking up that I think we brought up originally in the first episode we had you on, we were talking about smoking up, was I think you had brought up also, or we maybe had brought up, like one of those beehive smokers, potentially. We had some listeners actually buy some to do that in the field a little safer, but they could still get a heavy smoke out of it. Have you ever tried something like that? I have, very briefly. Have I ever actually put it into practice? No. Does it sound like a good idea? Yeah, it does. I mean, it sounds like thinking outside the box and a very good way to do things. Okay, awesome. Well, perfect. Well, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, kind of learning how to smoke up against something that Travis has had a lot of success with over the years, again, doing this as a cover scent. If you enjoyed this content, again, we're going to have an episode come out with Travis a little bit later on this fall, so make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to catch that when it is dropped. So we appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate you listening to this video. We'll catch you back here on the next video from the Southern Outdoorsmen. Remember, guys, y'all stay Southern.